Good morning, John Gilkison, Aero Stealth. It is Tuesday, August 27th, 2024, and I just wanted to shoot a quick video this morning on coefficient of drag area. This has kind of come up because I keep seeing shows, and Transport Evolved is one of them, where they very rightly try to point out that when you drive larger vehicles, they're less efficient because they have, higher drag. And while this is generally true, it shows some understanding of aerodynamics. It shows an incomplete picture. And it's kind of a misnomer because there can be exceptions to this. And so what I did is I just made up a very brief table, and I have three different drag coefficients, 0.32, 0.22, and 0.12. So there's just 1 point spreads, 0.1 spreads over the whole thing. Then I have three different frontal areas, 25 square feet, 32 square feet, and 36 square feet. Now, to arrive at coefficient of drag area, all you do is multiply the coefficient of drag times the frontal area. So the example I have on the table is if you have a coefficient of drag of 0.12 and you have 36 square feet of frontal area, you're going to end up with a coefficient of drag area of 4.32. Now, the reason I'm harping on this is coefficient of drag area is the critical figure. Coefficient of drag is a dimensionless number. Coefficient of drag area makes it a dimensional number. So let's just look at this real quick. I hope you'll be able to see this. I've tilted this up as much as I can. Okay. Of course, I can't read it on the camera, but I'm just going to go ahead and point it out to you what's going on here. So as you can see in the example I gave, this really low coefficient of drag over here ends up, even with a large frontal area, ends up with a 4.32 drag coefficient. However, if you have a high drag form, even at 25 square feet, and by high, I mean 0.32 is very common coefficient of drag for modern vehicles. Some are even more, especially pickup trucks. So even with a smaller vehicle with only 25 square feet of frontal area, with a 0.32 drag coefficient, you have a coefficient of drag area of 8, which is nearly double what the large vehicle has with a low coefficient of drag. So this is a more complete story. And I'll give you an example. And I know some people have trouble with this, but I just have this one drawing of a low drag form like 0.12. Oops. What I'm going to do to put this up sideways is it? So there you have it. This is a profile of a vehicle with a low drag form. Now, I suppose you could make a pickup truck out of this too, but what you have is a boat tail here. And now think of this area right here. See, there's a line running from here to here. That's a boat tail. and that could be detachable. So in other words, this vehicle would just be back to here and blunt shape for normal driving, just around town, locally. But if you wanted to take a trip somewhere, you would add this boat tail to it, and that would bring the drag coefficient down for highway travel. And I've covered this in other videos. But a car like my car, which has a 0.288 coefficient of drag, it would practically double the range on the highway with the same battery pack and everything, just by simply lowering the drag. Now Phil Knox did this rendering. I think he has suicide doors here. So, and you have a blunt frontal area. A lot of people misunderstand. They think that a car needs to be pointy and stuff in the front in order to have a low drag form. But all the action's back here. You can have a blunt form in front. Now he has both sets of wheels covered, including the front wheels. So this form right here literally would take most electric cars from the low 100 mile per gallon range to the 150, 180 mile per gallon range on average on the highway easily, and allow speeds at over 100 miles per hour at over 100 miles per gallon. So it's all there. I don't know, still no one's made such a form. I don't understand what Aptera is doing. The Aptera vehicle is, to me, lacks practicality because of safety issues. You really need to enclose all four wheels, not have them sticking out, especially the front wheels sticking out like they are in the Aptera. So there you have it. I'll give you one more look at this form, this table I made. So this is Tesla territory right here, 0.22. So if most cars are this, and Tesla is this, you can kind of see the secret sauce of a Tesla. And I don't understand why most automakers haven't tried to do this, because it's like extra battery capacity, it's extra range. It's all there, it's built into the car, just due to the shape. And yes, you can't change the model every year. You could, but you kind of got to stick with it. I mean, it's just like an airplane. You don't expect your airliner at the airport to, be the latest model with a roof rack and KC lights on it. And you say, "Oh, I'm not going to fly on that plane. That's an old airplane." I mean, Boeing with the DC-3 started out the modern airline shapes way back in the 1930s, and that hasn't changed because these are the laws of physics. So anyway, even if we didn't go this low, more automakers could get down in this territory, and it's possible to, with some modifications, get down even lower, instead of 0.22 like 0.18, so forth. And they keep talking about what's acceptable to the buyers. Well, they don't know because they haven't tried. And they'll spend millions selling something, and then they'll say, well, this is what the auto buyer wants. Well, spend millions selling something else, and then you can say they want that too. Anyway, higher efficiency for automobiles is locked up in improved aerodynamics. So, and remember, coefficient of drag area is a real metric. A coefficient of drag by itself is kind of meaningless. I mean, it has meaning, but it doesn't tell the whole story. So I'm going to let you go right there. This is all I wanted to get across. And as you can see, you can have a really small car have twice the drag of a much larger car, simply due to aerodynamics. So, bye-bye, everyone. I found out about the electric car show this year in Las Cruces. Is going to be at the Brannigan Library on September 28th, Saturday, from 10 a.m. to noon, and I signed up for it. I'm going to be there. Today, me and my wife are headed out to Hatch. We want to look at a new DC fast charger that's been installed there and document it. So, see you on down the road, everybody. Happy electro lean dreams. Bye.